Navigating the world of dieting can feel like walking a tightrope, especially when it comes to the discomfort of bloating. As someone who has danced with various diets, I've encountered the bloated belly blues more times than I'd like to admit. It's that uncomfortable feeling where your stomach feels like a balloon, and no amount of adjusting your clothing can alleviate the pressure. But over time, I've learned a few tricks and strategies that not only helped me avoid bloating, but also made my dieting experience more enjoyable. Here's how I transformed my relationship with food while keeping that pesky bloat at bay. First, let's talk about hydration. It may seem counterintuitive, but drinking water is key to avoiding bloating. Initially, I thought cutting back on liquids would help me feel lighter, but I quickly learned that dehydration can lead to water retention, which only exacerbates bloating. I began carrying a reusable water bottle everywhere I went, aiming for at least 2 liters a day. Adding slices of lemon or cucumber made it more appealing, and soon enough, I found that staying hydrated not only kept my digestion on track, but also improved my skin and energy levels. Next up is fiber. We all know fiber is essential for a healthy diet, but there's a fine line between getting enough and overdoing it, especially with certain types of fiber. In my early dieting days, I went all in, loading up on beans, lentils, and whole grains. While these foods are nutritious, they can also be notorious for causing bloating if introduced too quickly. I learned the hard way that moderation is key. Instead of diving headfirst into a fiber-rich diet, I gradually increased my intake, allowing my digestive system to adjust. I started with small portions of oatmeal in the morning and added a handful of berries, slowly incorporating more fiber-rich foods over time. This approach not only helped me avoid the uncomfortable bloat, but also kept my meals varied and interesting. Another significant factor is how I approached my meals. I used to rush through my meals, often eating in front of the TV or scrolling through my phone. This habit led to gulping down air along with my food, which was a recipe for disaster. I decided to change my eating environment. By setting the table and focusing solely on my meal, I found that I not only enjoyed my food more, but I also chewed more thoroughly. Chewing slowly allows enzymes in the saliva to begin breaking down food, making it easier for my stomach to process. I even started to savor each bite, noticing flavors and textures that I had previously overlooked. This mindful approach not only reduced bloating, but also helped me appreciate the act of eating, transforming it into a more pleasurable experience. I also learned about the impact of certain foods on my digestive system. Some foods that I had considered healthy were actually triggers for bloating. For instance, I adored cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower, but they left me feeling uncomfortably full. After some experimentation, I discovered that cooking these vegetables instead of eating them raw made a significant difference. Steaming or roasting them broke down some of the fibers that cause gas, making them easier to digest. I began to explore different cooking methods and found that sautéing with a little olive oil and garlic not only made them tastier, but also more digestible. In addition to cooking methods, I became more mindful of food combinations. I had always been a fan of salads, but I noticed that certain combinations left me feeling bloated. For example, mixing beans with raw vegetables seemed to be a recipe for discomfort. I learned about food pairing and how some combinations can be harder to digest. Now, I opt for lighter dressings, and I avoid combining heavy proteins with starchy carbs in the same meal. Instead of a traditional pasta dish loaded with cheese and meat, I've found that a simple vegetable stir-fry with a side of grilled chicken or fish works wonders. This not only keeps bloating at bay, but also adds variety to my meals. Fermented foods became a game changer for me. Initially, I was skeptical about incorporating them into my diet, but after reading about the benefits of probiotics for gut health, I decided to give it a try. I started with yogurt, opting for plain, unsweetened varieties, and gradually added sauerkraut and kimchi to my meals. The difference was remarkable. My digestion improved, and I felt lighter and more energized. I began to appreciate the tangy flavors of these foods, and they became staples in my diet. The more I included fermented foods, the more I noticed a decrease in bloating, which made me feel more confident in my body. Exercise also played a crucial role in my journey to avoid bloating. I used to think that intense workouts were the only way to stay fit, but I learned that gentle movement can be incredibly effective for digestion. I began incorporating daily walks into my routine, especially after meals. A simple stroll around the block helped my body process food more efficiently and reduced feelings of fullness. I also explored yoga, which has various poses specifically designed to aid digestion. These gentle stretches not only alleviated discomfort, but also helped me relax, reducing stress, which is another contributor to bloating. Lastly, I cannot stress enough the importance of listening to my body. There were times when I indulged in a favorite treat, only to pay the price later. Instead of punishing myself with guilt, I learned to recognize how certain foods made me feel. Keeping a food diary helped me identify patterns and triggers, allowing me to make informed choices moving forward. If I knew that dairy caused me discomfort, I would choose alternatives like almond or oat milk. By tuning into my body's signals, I became more empowered in my choices, leading to a healthier relationship with food. In conclusion, avoiding bloating while dieting is not just about what you eat, but also how you eat. It's about creating a balanced approach that prioritizes hydration, mindful eating, and understanding your body's unique responses to different foods. Through my journey, I've discovered that small changes can lead to significant improvements in how I feel. Instead of viewing dieting as a restrictive process, I now see it as an opportunity to explore new foods, enjoy meals mindfully, and cultivate a healthier lifestyle. By sharing these experiences and insights, I hope to inspire others to find their own path to a bloat-free diet, one delicious meal at a time.